Hello, guys. Welcome to the Political Vigilante. Today, I want to talk about. I'm going to reference an article that was in the New York Times, March 3rd, written by Coral Davenport. But it's about Trump is basically going to roll back all of the fuel mileage standards and all the stuff that Obama had implemented, and tailpipe emissions and all this stuff that now Trump wants to roll back. Now that Pruitt is in charge of the EPA, he has a pretty clear path to do that. And why these things are destructive is obviously harmful emissions into the air, and we need to use less fuel. We need to get off of oil. And, the auto companies, as we're going to go into in the article, they sent Trump a letter. They saw this opportunity. Oh, Obama's rules are too restrictive. It's going to cost us all this money to fix our cars and make them more fuel efficient. You got to help us out. And they're just, Obama bailed them out, man. They got bailed out because they have been making bad cars. And now the government forced them to make better cars and more fuel efficient cars and come up with alternative fuel. That's why you're seeing a lot of hybrids. You're seeing a lot of electric cars now. You're seeing the Mirai, which is fuel cell, which burns hydrogen, and all this stuff. And the rest of the world is like getting away from, the internal combustion engine hasn't changed in, 80 years, 100 years. It's like insane. And, what do these companies do? They see Trump and they're just being opportunists. So the article is called Trump to Undo Vehicle Rules That Curb Global Warming. The announcement, which is expected as soon as Tuesday and will be made jointly by the Environmental Protection Agency, that is a complete joke now. Now that Pruitt is in charge of it, you're not protecting the environment. The EPA was created by Nixon to actually protect the environment. That's why it's called the Protection Agency. Along with Elaine Chao, it's Mitch McConnell's wife, will immediately start to undo one of former President Barack Obama's most significant environmental legacies. During the same week, so this is probably going to happen this Tuesday, and on the same day, so possibly this week, Trump is expected to direct Mr. Pruitt to begin more lengthy and legal complex process of dismantling the Clean Power Plan, Mr. Obama's rules to cut planet-warming pollution from coal-fired power plants. The regulatory rollback on vehicle pollution will relax restrictions. Haven't we talked about this a lot? That's all Trump is doing, is deregulating everything. Relax restrictions on tailpipe emissions of carbon dioxide and will not require action by Congress. It will also have a major effect on the United States auto industry. Under the Obama administration's vehicle fuel economy standards, American automakers were locked into nearly a decade of trying to design and build ever more sophisticated fuel-efficient vehicles, including electric and hybrid models. This nation's largest auto companies told Mr. Trump last month they found those technical requirements too burdensome. Yet, does anyone understand this? Like, if there's too much if there's too much harmful emissions, if there's too much carbon dioxide, that's bad. I posted this on Facebook. I said, if there's no such thing as climate change, then let your car run, put it in your garage, turn your car on, close all your doors and windows, and let your car run and just sleep throughout the night. Let your car run throughout the night and go to bed and see how that works out. And some guy posted, the plants clean everything. You liberals are so dumb. And I was like, okay, then let your car run and put some plants by your bed. You should be fine. Like, this is awful. And this regulation has forced car companies to make more efficient cars. If you don't regulate giant corporations for the most part have very little, as I've said before, I said it when I did the B corporations, when I was talking about them, they actually have an incentive. The B corporations are supposed to be more socially and environmentally aware, right? Most regular corporations, the bigger they are, the less they care about the greater good. These car companies don't care about the greater good. They just need profit, profit, profit. And they've all been enjoying big profits. So I don't know what the hell they're talking about. It's like It bothers me. So the automakers estimate their industry would have to spend a staggering, that's their word, 200 billion between 2012 and 2025 to comply with the said tailpipe emissions rule. That was far more expensive for the industry than enforcing the Clean Power Plan. Yeah, tailpipe emissions are awful. Like, I want all these auto people, like, just, okay, then tape a hose from your tailpipe and just run it into your house. If you don't think they're that bad and it's too burdensome, then just let your family suck on it. No? Oh, weird. And here's somebody from an environmental organization. The rest of the world is moving forward with electric cars. If the Trump administration goes backward, the U.S. won't be able to compete globally, said Margot T. Oges, former senior EPA official and author of Driving the Future, Combating Climate Change with Cleaner, Smarter Cars. And she's obviously right. And this is, again, it's more this short-sighted Trump, deregulate, it's too tough on the auto. No. Make cleaner, more efficient cars. The whole world is leaving us behind. And we export a lot of cars around the world. I've been to China. Buying an American car is like, oh, I saw all these Buicks. I don't see that many Buicks around, but I saw a bunch of them in China. So buying the American car is this cool thing. And all the car companies are moving forward with this stuff because they've kind of had to, and they've got to figure out how to make this profitable. So now with Trump, they're going to just again, he's just going to set us back however many years with regard to the rest of the world. Who's going to want to import our cars if the rest of the world is going towards clean burning cars and we're making cars that aren't that clean burning? Then why would anyone want to buy our cars? It's more short-sighted. It's hurting the auto worker in the long run. This will hurt the American auto worker. Mark my words. It's just, yeah. And Obama was trying to get it to 54.5 miles per gallon by 2025. All right, the blah, blah, blah goes on and on. You know, it's just more facts that Trump doesn't care about because he just cares about profit, and neither do the auto companies. So what do you do? This is frustrating, right? As I've talked about before, if I had the money, I would buy an electric car because I don't want to use oil. I don't want to use their product anymore. And some of you even said you ride your bike more and you're, taking public transportation to work. That's what you got to do. And if you're in the market to buy a new car, see if you can buy an electric one or a hybrid or something like. Especially, I would get the electric one because electric ones have a $7,500 tax break, federal from the IRS. So I would do that because that's something Trump is going to try to roll back. Because like in the state of California, you get $7,500 in tax credits from the feds, and then you get $2,500 from the state of California. So $10,000 you can deduct from your taxes. So now you buy an electric car that, let's say, is in the between 35 and 40 grand. That's a pretty expensive car. You knock 10 grand off of that all of a sudden, that's a $25,000 car. That's not that crazy. That's not that expensive. That's a lot of money. Trump is going to try to get rid of this. So if I had the money, man, oh my God, if I had the money. I have this old Toyota with 250,000 miles on it. I would buy an electric car in a heartbeat just because I don't want to use their fucking product anymore. And I've looked into the Toyota Mirai, the hydrogen fuel cell. Right now there's not an infrastructure or not a big infrastructure for hydrogen. But I might buy one of those. I would maybe consider buying one of those because then the more people that buy that, then they'll start putting money into it. If you invest money, don't invest in the oil industry, and call your car companies. Email the car companies and threaten them. I'm in the market to buy a car. If you guys get rid of this, I'm not going to buy your cars anymore. Because someone's going to keep making fuel-efficient cars, and if the American car companies don't want to, someone will, and someone will make a profit from it if they're just going to be this short-sighted. So I'll put the link to this article below. And this is definitely a case of voting with your dollars to show the car companies that you don't want this you don't want the standards to be reduced so it's worse for the environment. Whew. Also, my Patreon page is below, so You can support this as independent media. I'm not run by a corporation, and I might not get everything right, and I'll gladly change my mind or say, I'm sorry, I got that wrong. But know that my intention is honest here. No one's telling me, no one's in my ear saying, oh, Graham, you can't say this, you can't say that. So if you go to my Patreon page, you're supporting independent media. Also, you can support this independent media by hitting the like button and hitting the subscribe button and then sharing it on all your social media. Thank you so much for watching.